Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about something that is absolutely crucial to any fictional world, but is so often overlooked: the economy. It's the invisible engine that drives everything from a peasant's daily meal to a king's declaration of war. And getting it right, well, that's an art form.
You know the feeling, right? You're completely lost in a book or a game, and then, bam, a character slaps down 10 gold coins to buy an entire castle. But in the last story you read, 10 gold coins barely covered a sandwich and a drink. It just feels off. That little inconsistency can completely shatter your immersion, pulling you right out of the world the creator worked so hard to build. So how do we fix that? How do we build an economy that feels solid and real? Well, today we're going to do just that. We're going to take a fictional currency, something called MJA, and use it as our case study to lay out the exact blueprint for making an economy feel authentic. Let's dive in.
Okay, first things first. Every single believable currency needs what we call an anchor. This is step one, and honestly, it's the most important part. This is the bedrock, the foundation that gives all your imaginary money real, tangible meaning. So, what exactly is an anchor value? Simple. It's the one thing in your world, whether it's a common good, a day's worth of work, a precious metal, that connects your money to a feeling of real value. It answers the fundamental question, okay, but what can I actually get with one of these? And check this out. Your choice of anchor is a massive piece of world building all on its own. If you go with a spice standard, it tells us your society values trade and exotic goods. A labor standard? That suggests the value of skilled work and craftsmanship is central to their culture. And a blessed silver ingot? Well, now we know religion and commerce are completely intertwined. The anchor isn't just a number, it's a story. Once that anchor is in place, you can figure out a conversion rate to, real money, like US dollars. But here's the secret sauce, the pro-level tip. Don't make it a perfectly rigid number. The key to making an economy feel alive is flexibility. You want it to feel organic and messy, like the real world, not like a perfectly balanced video game spreadsheet. And you can really see the difference it makes. A rigid system where one MJA is always 30 cents just feels fake. It's too clean. But a flexible system where it's around 20 to 35 cents, now we're talking. That little bit of wiggle room allows for things like regional price differences, political turmoil affecting trade, or a bad harvest. It makes the world feel so much more real. All right, so we've got our anchor, we've got our flexible range. Now for the fun part. Let's actually start pricing things in this world. And we're going to start small and scale all the way up to some truly mind-blowing luxury goods. Let's start with the basics, the everyday stuff. A nice loaf of artisan bread, that's 2 MGA, so less than $1. A hot meal from a street vendor is maybe 5 to 8 MGA, a couple of bucks. A night at a local inn might set you back 50 MGA or so. See what's happening? These numbers stop being abstract. You can feel their value. You know exactly what it means to be short 10 MGA when you're hungry. Now let's jump up to how the other half lives. A beautifully embroidered tunic costs 500 MJA. A powerful blessing from the temple to ensure a safe sea voyage? That's 1,000 MJA. We're talking about status symbols, religious services, things that show wealth and power. And the system scales perfectly, holding its logic from the bread cart all the way up to the noble's private feast. Okay, but what's the absolute limit? Can a system that's anchored to the price of a common good handle true, eye-watering, ridiculous luxury? This is the ultimate stress test. This is where we find out if our system has what it takes. You ready? The most prestigious, high-tech vehicle in this world, the Cuvia Voritac S-Class, costs 720,000 MJ. Yeah, just let that number hang in the air for a second. It sounds impossibly huge, doesn't it? But here's the magic. Because we built our foundation the right way, that enormous number isn't random. It translates almost perfectly. It's about $250,000 US, which is right in the ballpark for a high-end luxury car in our world. That consistency,
from a $1 street meal to a $250,000 vehicle, that is what makes an economy feel totally, completely real.
But we're not done yet. A truly great fictional economy isn't static. It doesn't just sit there. It's dynamic. It has to react and change with the world around it. It's time to add the final layer that makes our currency truly breathe.
We call these the X factors. Think about it. A war breaks out, and suddenly faith in the MJI plummets, making it worth less. A powerful temple issues an edict that all goods in a holy city now have a 10% spiritual tax. Or maybe a bad harvest means the imported spice that anchors the currency is scarce, driving up prices at the ports. These aren't just little details. These are plot hooks. They create conflict, drama, and endless opportunities for storytelling. And sometimes a single economic rule can tell you more about a culture than an entire chapter of history. Take this little note from the world's codex: clan discounts. Just from that one phrase, we learned so much. We know that family, bloodlines, and lineage are incredibly important in this society. So important, they're literally baked into the financial system. That's just brilliant, subtle world building. So there you have it. We've taken the whole process apart piece by piece. And what we're left with isn't some ridiculously complex spreadsheet. It's a simple, elegant, and totally repeatable toolkit that any writer, game designer, or creator can use. And here it is, the whole thing in 4 simple steps. 1. Set your anchor. Ground your currency in something your audience can intuitively understand. 2. Define a flexible range, not a rigid number. 3. Build the scale, pricing everything from the mundane to the magnificent. And 4. Add dynamics. Make it react to politics, religion, and the seasons. That's the blueprint. Which brings us to one last thought. We've seen how a carefully built currency can tell a deep story about a fictional world's values, its conflicts, its very soul. It really makes you stop and think. If their money can tell such a rich story about them, what story about our world and our priorities is the wallet in your pocket telling right now?